They use the number 4, but this is the word for Prussman.
Yeah.
For Mayor.com. And there's an event coming up in Queens, you said, on January 6th. Where's that going to be?
I think it's a private libertarian event in a restaurant. But that's, I think it's their convention. It's a convention.
I bet you could sneak in if you really tried. I think you can meet Stacey.
Well, we're going to have a Zoom. We're going to have the next
Zoom.
couple of weeks. We're having a few Zoom campaign events. I'm also going to be going live a lot. So, go to my donation link as well. We need to raise money because that's the only way to really get, ballot access and to campaign and to compete against someone like Yang or Sliwa.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot more money. Well, at least Yang does, I know, and the other Democrats. So if you really want a city with an open free market, you want to reopen the city safely, and because we're going to, I don't know how long this is going to go on. It's going to go on into 2021. So, yeah. Yeah,
and plus, I even think there's going to be new strains. This is going to be going on for a long time. But I think the Hells Angels would have a better chance than the Guardian Angels, Curtis Lewa. When we come back with Stacey Prussman, by the way, you can find her on Twitter at Stacey Prussman. We're going to be talking about legalizing marijuana, vape, psychedelics, decriminalizing sex work, the cops, instituting comprehensive police reform, and establishing New York City as a no-kill animal shelter zone. We'll be right back with more of Stacey Prussman for Mayor after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And I almost forgot, if you go to Silk City Hot Sauce, you want the best hot sauce in town, you go to Silk City Hot Sauce, you put in promo code ED, and you get 15% off and a free bottle of hot sauce, okay? And Stacey Prussman, you're a friend of the Silk City Hot Sauce.
Yes, I love them.
Yeah, I know. He sent me all 8 of them, and I'm putting them in everything now. I'm putting them in my tomato juice.
They're delicious. They're absolutely. He's my favorite. I love it. I love them at Silk City Hot Sauce. They are amazing.
Hey, you know what? And we don't know this for a fact, but it's possible that Silk City Hot Sauce could be a cure for the coronavirus. It hasn't been tested or verified yet, but go out and get some. Stacey, what's on a Stacey Prussman for Mayor of New York City on the Libertarian Party? What about testing? That's one of the issues in New York City. Not enough testing?
I don't think we have enough testing. I think I originally when the coronavirus happened and we started testing, I'm like, if they just tested more people, people would know where they stand. If the tests are accurate, like if let's say we have accurate testing, I hope they develop that by now. I know like people are going to they're doing work on movie sets and TV sets now. They're getting tested, so they get tested a few days before they have to work. Then they get tested the day before, and then they get tested the morning of before they go on to set. So there's a lot of testing going on, and they're able to work on these movie sets, and people aren't catching the coronavirus. So there are ways to. It would be a little bit of a pain in the butt in these ways, but I believe that if there's more testing and there's more, not just in urgent cares, maybe little stores could have a little testing facility. They set a nurse up. I think it would make a world of difference. And it would bring some, income perhaps to some places that would offer testing.
Yeah, people are out of work. Give them some quick lessons on how to test people,
Yeah, like get a testing license, a corona testing license, That could be a new thing, or a corona testing certificate where you learn how to do specifically coronavirus testing correctly, and you have to pass the test, and then you're able to test. I think that would be a really interesting way to look at it, because it would give people jobs, many jobs. Maybe every few blocks would be a testing facility, so you know where you stand, so you can go to work. You could, then function, and then more people are negative. That's a negative pot of people. So, for instance, and I think it would just create more people know where they stand, and if you do test positive, because the problem is non-symptomatic people are spreading it. That's one of the biggest spreaders, which is very interesting. I've been reading a lot about because my cousin just got vaccinated she got her first shot, and she's getting the second one in a couple of weeks, and then she's like, do I have to wear a mask? Am I, not symptomatic? Am I able to spread it? And they're not really sure. Actually, the scientists didn't do that study. They don't know if you are still able to shed the virus after you've been vaccinated, and even after a few weeks. They're not sure. That's one thing they don't know.
I think the problem.
People could shed.
I think the problem is that some of our best, most qualified scientists are still working on those Silk City hot sauce recipes instead of concentrating on the coronavirus. Well, let me ask you this now. You mentioned
I want to bring Silk City hot sauce. I want to have them have a store in New York. That would make me very happy.
That'd be extra business. Now, legalizing marijuana, vape, and psychedelic sales. Now, marijuana is not legal in New York State?
I believe I think it is. It's not criminalized. I don't know if it's illegal. That's
really?
I think you need a card still, but I think they're not pressing. As of I think last year or 2 years ago, they stopped pressing charges. They stopped arresting people unless they had unless they had a large amount of weed. I think they stopped criminalizing it.
But you're telling me you don't have recreational marijuana with big stores with a line going all the way around the block?
No, we don't. We have medical marijuana.
Wow. When they legalized marijuana in Las Vegas, these small companies grew so fast. Some of these stores are like the size of like a Walmart, okay? And you have to go in there and wait online for an hour before you can even get up to the counter. It's just amazing. And vape, you're telling me that vape is not legal in New York?
They after that whole, and this is the problem with laws. So what happens with laws is that they, there was a few years ago, there was a THC marijuana distributor that put vitamin E into their vapes, and that you can't breathe that in, and that caused like glass lungs, and people were dying. Like there's a whole bunch of kids dying and whatnot. So then they messed it up for everybody who vaped. They messed it up for everyone who vaped, and so I think unless you're like a big company like Juul or Blue, I don't think you've already been selling vapes. You can't sell them anymore. There are vape shops, but not new ones can't come.
I got to tell you something. Yeah, both in Nevada and Florida. In Florida, there's no rec marijuana down here, but there's vape on every corner. Vape stores, Seems like a really...
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
And Vegas, man, vape stores everywhere, and rec marijuana everywhere. Two big businesses if you want to bring a lot of money to your state. And psychedelics, too, huh?
Yeah, psychedelics are definitely not legal because they're used for, I think if you use them properly, they're used for like mental illness, and they help with depression and anxiety. I've never used psychedelics myself, which people think I have, but I've never. But I know that some people who've used it has helped them incredibly with their depression. Now a medical. Actually, medical marijuana is legal in New York, but recreational isn't. Though, however, the state has particularly decriminalized cannabis. Individuals who possess less than an ounce of marijuana are subject to a fine of $50 or a maximum of $200 for 1 to 2 ounces. I think you can't have a lot of it, but medical marijuana is legal here, but recreational really isn't.
Yeah, I actually had a guest on the show who wrote that book about the psychedelics curing depression. So if people want to search for that, just Opperman, Spreaker, psychedelics, it'll probably come right up.
Yeah, now, I mean, there are a lot of great, I think they
vape stores.
The drugs, the war on drugs actually became, it didn't really help people become unaddicted. So that's not, I think that banning, I don't think people with drug problems should go to jail. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think maybe, insidious drug dealers are dealing drugs to kids and people, weak people that are like on the, I think that's wrong in terms of like, heavy duty drugs that are like opiates and fentanyl and all that stuff. That should be obviously not a good thing. But I think that it's not fair that we've created that every drug is illegal and shouldn't be used. I mean, marijuana has so many medicinal purposes, and so it is, and as well as, and it's fine recreationally if, people don't kill people that are on marijuana. It's like, it's. I mean, I'm not even a person that likes marijuana personally. I don't use it, and that's not because of any moral reasons. I don't love that type of drug. It doesn't work for me. But I know a lot of people that it saved their lives, instead of having to go on pills and things like that. So.
Yeah, and like I said, back in Vegas, it's very strict. You have to show a driver's license when you come in. They even have a guy that opens the door for you. They're not allowed to touch the door going in and out. They have a lot of regulations, so it doesn't seem to be a bad idea. Now, you also talk about decriminalizing sex work.
Absolutely. That, to me, I think that whatever is between two consenting adults is their business, period. I think so many people get trafficked by pimps and female and male, male and female pimps, and they get, like the Jeffrey Epstein situation, and they have no control over their own business. And I think that if it's illegal, first of all, it protects the sex worker and the person using the sex worker, because that's, it's obviously it's a transaction between two people, and if it's consensual, and people are of both sound mind and body, then who am I to say you're a criminal? Who am I to say to jump into someone's business and be like, that's criminal? It's not my, it's not my business, and it shouldn't be the government's business. And if you are going to work as a sex worker, you should be treated like an employee. One of the things that happened, and this is even more upsetting when I found this out. So when they closed strip clubs and all that. Now, strip clubs are legal businesses. They're entertainment, correct? They did not get unemployment. They did not get They were not able to get the federal unemployment because they were deemed, sex workers of some sort.
Yeah, you can't get you can't get SBA or PPP money either if you're an adult entertainment business, or you can't get that money either with that.
And just because you're dancing naked doesn't mean you're not an entertainer. There are people on Broadway that there are naked people in movies that are naked. They're actors. So it's like, why are they being? We live in a puritanical society where it's really disgusting. And I feel like if you have a legal business and you're and you're dancing and you're not having whatever you're doing, it's like you're an entertainer. Why are you being discriminated against? And I find that like total discrimination.
Yeah, it's fun.
The federal government tells you you're paying taxes and you're doing something legal. Why wouldn't you be eligible? And they closed my business down. The state and the federal government closed my business down. So why can't I get unemployment?
And down here in Florida too, when they did shut down the strip clubs, that just put everybody into private parties behind locked doors, where there's even less controls and masks and regulation. Right. It's just
it becomes speakeasies. Yeah, I mean, too often the prosecuting people of true sound mind, prohibition causes many sex workers to operate in the shadows, like you said, and it's constant, and it's just constant physical